In terms of other news, I mean, there's links to Dean Huijsen, the Bournemouth centre-back, who has a £50 million release clause by the looks of it. I mean, just scanning through this piece I've got open from This Is Anfield. Dean Huijsen interest explained by top source after £50 million transfer claim. Reports of Liverpool's interest in centre-back Dean Huijsen may have been premature, despite the claims they could trigger his £50 million release clause. The I newspaper's Mark Douglas is chief among those linking Huijsen to a move to Anfield, frequently mentioning defender as a possible signing a long-known left-back target Milos Kerkez. But the Athletic's well-connected journalist David Ornstein has been less emphatic over any speculation about Huijsen joining Liverpool. Let's have a look what he said. Someone asked about when he replied, they're not sure if they're pursuing him, obviously in relation to us, and would need to make more checks on the matter before there would need to be some outward movement in the centre-back department to create space for such a player. I mean, yeah. I mean, that makes sense, but we've been expecting Joe Gomez to leave for probably 2 or maybe 3 is a stretch, but at least 2 summers now, you'd probably expect. So that creates the gap there, you'd presume. I mean, Gomez wasn't really seen as the versatile, fill in all the roles defender that he was under Klopp, so that'd just be centre back in, centre back out. And you'd presume we'd have to figure out versatility or backup in full back positions anyway. But I mean, we have 2 left backs, we have 2 right backs at the minute. That obviously might change in the summer, but yeah, I mean I think there will be a gap at centre back. I mean, look, at the minute we've got 3 centre backs for basically the remainder of the season at the minute, and one of them's playing right back because both our right backs are missing for a while. So there's clearly gap at centre back. And £50 million for a 19-year-old Spanish international who, taking the league by storm might be a bit strong, but Bournemouth have had an excellent season, potentially going to get into Europe, made a really good partnership with Zabani. 19-year-old, got time to grow, could easily be our 3rd choice centre-back, and then the future would hopefully be him and Kwanzaa, or him and Ibu, if Kwanzaa doesn't hit that level, but very, very long-term future, it could be Kwanzaa and this kid. Yeah, and for £50 million, which is weird to say, that's almost bargain money. I mean, we got Ibu for 35, a good 5 years ago, or 4 years ago. Now, I mean, 50 million's kind of the similar ballpark, really. So yeah, that makes sense for me. It really does. Like, I know there's some concern on, I think it's Sam Maguire who says his aerial win rate's not that good. But I mean, it is kind of a dying art form. We see, I think Saliba, for instance, who's obviously the best centre back that's ever graced the Premier League, he's not great in the air. I think it's kind of moved on from that time. I mean, it's very rare to get very, very dominant players now, and I think you see it. It's probably as rare with strikers as well. I mean, big target men. I mean, Chris Wood. I mean, Haaland's massive, but I wouldn't call him a target man. Obviously, still have to deal with him in the air. Trying to think off the top of my head, really. I don't think there's many target men strikers anymore. Mateta's quite big, but I wouldn't call him a target man. None of Arsenal's, City's are mentioned. Bournemouth don't really have. Solanke's quite big, I suppose. United don't have a striker. And then you look at the elite level football. I mean, Lewandowski's big. PSG don't play with a striker. Real Madrid have Mbappe. But in terms of the world elite, I mean, big men strikers have obviously been fading out of the game for a while now, and I think it's the same in English football. Obviously, it's potentially a weakness teams can exploit, but you plan to deal with that. And he's only 19, so he might get better in that regard. He's not exactly like he's short or not physical enough. It might be just something, the way they defend. Obviously, I'd probably say Zabani's the more aggressive centre-back out of that partnership. So, yeah. I'd be more than happy with that. £50 million. Obviously, as I mentioned yesterday, we probably do have a busy summer, but £50 million, we could probably get most of that for Joe Gomez if he is to leave, because that kind of needs to happen if we are to get him. And hopefully it's not Van Dijk leaving. We should probably add that there. Yeah, you could probably get 30 to 40 for Joe, then an extra 10 million for a 19-year-old centre back who's excellent. I think that's good business, really. Obviously, I love Joe Gomez, but the injuries and just kind of sad at times. But yeah, that makes sense to me. What else have we got? Alan Shearer tips Liverpool to replace Darwin Núñez with £40 million star wanted by Man United. Going off the picture, it looks like it's Liam Delap. It indeed is. I mean, if he's obviously had a really good season in a bad Ipswich side. I mean, do they have their numbers here anywhere? I'm sure he scored at least 10 Premier League goals. It doesn't look like they have. I mean, he's doing really well in an Ipswich side, but it's a massive jump, and he's probably better suited than Darwin Núñez. He's a bit more consistent by the looks of it. But if I remember correctly, obviously he's still very young. He didn't have great numbers in the Championship. He comes up to the Premier League. He's the main goal threat in a team that does attack at times. He's probably their only striker off the top of my head. If he comes to Liverpool, you wouldn't expect him to go straight in the starting 11. In an ideal world, we keep Salah. We buy an experienced number 9, or Jota remembers how to play football. Would £40 million be worth? Like, as I mentioned, future. I mean, Delap's probably one of those big strikers we mentioned. I forgot about there just a moment ago, but I mean, £40 million for someone who gets relegated, young, English, clearly talented. I wouldn't be upset by it, but if he was the one number 9 we bought to reignite that position, which we've obviously struggled with since Bobby was a regular. I suppose Mane had that spell where he was scoring goals for fun as the number 9. But it really is trying to look for the long-term replacement for Bobby, really. I don't know. I'd be happy with the transfer, but would it just be him? You get what I mean? Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I mean, let's get his numbers up whilst I'm here. I'll do it on my laptop, so I don't use my clicky clack keyboard. It'll be loud. Liam Delap. Stats. 10 goals in 28 Premier League matches. I mean, it's very good. It's very good, and probably the main reason Ipswich are the best of the bad promoted teams. Let's have a quick look at his Championship numbers. I know he was, where was he? Hull last year. Or was it Stoke? It was one of the two. 23-24. 8 goals in 31 Championship games. In a good Hull side, because did they just miss out on the playoffs and then they did the silly thing and sacked was it Rossinier, how you pronounce his name? 8 goals in 31, 22-23. Uh, 4 in 37. Yeah. That was for Stoke, and Stoke are obviously bad, so... But, I mean, he is young. He is young. I mean, how old is he now? He's 22 now. I suppose he's coming into probably the start of his prime. I mean, for me, I think primes are starting a bit earlier. You'd probably say 23, 24 is the start of the prime, so maybe next year is the start of his prime. And then now he's getting 10 goals in 28. I suppose, I mean, yeah, he's probably on the right track in terms of improving every year. For me, if it was him and then another number 9, but then we have to replace... For me, we have to sort the left wing position, but as I mentioned yesterday, if it's Gakpo as the starting left wing, and then Chiesa or Diaz as the backup one, it's not ideal, but it'd be fine, I think. But then would you get, I don't know, Ekitike and Delap? Probably not. Would you get Isak and Delap? Definitely not. Would you get Alvarez and Delap? Definitely not. If we get Delap, it'd probably mean Jota would still be the starting number 9. And then maybe you could get a left winger as well. I don't know. It's a weird one. I'd be all right with the signing. I'd just be kind of concerned about what else we do in that area. What else have we got? Going to AnfieldIndex.com, we've got a good piece by Stephen Smith talking about Adam Wharton, who he's been linked with a lot of moves. I think Man City's probably the most prominent, but he's been linked with us as well. He's very good, and I could see him being the number 6 that we kind of, or Arne Slot kind of wants. You see it with Zubimendi. He wasn't exactly in the Fabinho mould, but we kind of want that person to get the ball off the centre-backs, progress play, and Gravenberch was doing that really well, especially the first half of this current point of the season. And obviously he looks a bit knackered now, and we're not really... I think McAllister's job's probably more that now. Whereas back earlier in the season, it was more Gravenberch gets the ball, turns, takes someone out the game, and then we progress up that way. I could see Wharton doing that. I think the only thing is he's not the biggest. Maybe that's more important in the Klopp days, but again, we've seen our midfield struggle with your midfields of Newcastle, Joelinton, massive, absolute horror show of a person to play against. Who else have we struggled against? I mean, Fulham's was good. I know we were down to 10 men in that game, but Fulham's big physical midfield. Trying to think who else. We've not really struggled against many, have we? I suppose the bigger test to come, but Newcastle twice, Fulham once. PSG's kind of, but I wouldn't say this is more physical, but like Ruiz is a bit of a monster physically. Yeah, I mean, even like some tough games against Southampton, their midfield's quite big and physical as well. Obviously, the quality's not there, but they're physically there. Would Wharton help with that? Probably not. I mean, I think the on-ball stuff would be magical, but you look... We're kind of looking for that unicorn player who is physically imposing, but is also awesome on the ball. Now, that there is probably someone out there. I mean, it's probably called Rodri, which is not happening. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one. I'd be very happy with Wharton, but I think it'd kind of just... We'd still have that same weakness there. But maybe Wharton's better defensively than Gravenberch because he's played that position a bit longer. But Gravenberch might improve in that regard as well. Who knows? But if our midfield 5 was Wharton as probably the starting 6 if we're spending that much money on him, and then you've got Gravenberch as his backup, and then you've got McAllister, Jones, and then you've got Szoboszlai, say, backed up by Elliott, just in this regard. That's a hell of a midfield group. Maybe you are lacking that physical unit, but in terms of a group, that is special. I mean, would Endo still be here to play that kind of enforcer, more physical role? Maybe. Just as kind of someone over on the squad. But yeah, I'd be happy with Wharton. I'd be very happy with Wharton. It's just that physicalness.
The Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.